Happy New Year, everyone. I've been asked by a few people in advance of completing my Transform book, How to Run an Advisory Firm, coming out really soon, and also just some of the roadshows we're doing this year around Advisory Advantage and our Advisory Edge podcast, just to share some insight from my own background running successful advisory practices, but also interacting with, the 1,000+ firms that we play with here at Spotlight Reporting and help empower doing advisory. So, what's a good New Year's resolution around how to kind of access more opportunity from your existing client base? So, I'm personally a huge fan of less is more. So, working with less people on more consequential work, and that's what I did when I ran my own um, advisory practice. So, one thing I would encourage you to do is look at your organizational design, review what you're doing and for whom. And I think what you'll find, particularly if you decide to free up the future of some of your clients, is the opportunity to look at the services you're providing to your best clients, the ones you enjoy working with, the ones that pay you on time, the ones that are open to that investment in their business and their investment in your services, and look at what services you're not providing them as well and you could provide. So that's where our service opportunity matrix comes into play. That's something I would use in from our Transform in Action Resource Center and use that to fill the white space. It's a gap analysis tool. And what I've found in doing this process with dozens of firms all around the world is that there is more opportunity, more iceberg under the surface than above the surface. There's more opportunity to sell services and moments and milestones and memories with existing clients who you're already the trusted advisor for than marketing and pushing into to try and sell essentially into new clients. So use our service opportunity matrix, review what services you are offering and want to offer. So we're finding more and more businesses, for example, looking at ESG advisory. We saw that in our Global Advisory Trends report, that 16 to 18% of firms are now looking at that. We have a tool, Spotlight Sustain, that's perfect for doing that fast and quickly and effectively with AI. Forecasting is another one, cash flow forecasting, scenarios, raising funds, overdrafts, etc. Preparing those for the board and the bank, really important. And again, Spotlight forecasting fits in nicely there. But what mentoring are you doing? What strategy are you doing, etc.? So use the service opportunity matrix to look at the low-hanging fruit revenue that is sitting on the table with your existing client base. Allied to that is doing a client portfolio review. So as you have the service opportunity matrix out there, look at the client as an account management situation. What else do we need to be doing? But what's the health of the client portfolio? What's some of the work we did in 2025 that we need to follow up on in 2026? Um, and, what are some of the big milestones or things we need to be working for or celebrating with that client? So I think if you take that almost customer success account management approach rather than um, irregular or widely spaced contact points, then that's really powerful. And that kind of ties in with one of the other avenues that I'm a big fan of, and that's having a cadence of quality conversations with your clients. So again, New Year's resolution time, new year, new you, new year, new revenue. Let's think about how we interact with clients, how we can get those touch points happening more effectively. I was certainly a big fan of an annual strategic planning cycle from which all sorts of wonderful conversations would spool out. And actually, a lot of them would end up being service offerings that didn't actually need to be sold because they were obvious parts of strategic planning. And even if that feels too heavy for you, having some goal setting early in the year. So it might be just as simple as a Venn diagram that I used to use: business, financial, personal. Three objectives in each. Some of them intersect with each other, of course, hence the Venn diagram. And that sets a framework for the year. And then from that, you can set up your cadence of meetings talking about the financial goals, the personal goals, business goals, using a tool set, including Spotlight, of course, to anchor those meetings and provide the analysis and the visualization that makes sense to the customer, but also tracks their goals. And that's where our action plans are really, really important. Uh, and the best advisors are using action plans within Spotlight reporting, very soon to be AI empowered. So they will take the executive summary, recommendations, and auto-populate the recommendations into the action plan with subsidiary actions to take. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, definitely focus some activity on goal setting, even if you're not doing strategic planning, as part of your portfolio reviews. If you, as a trusted advisor and the person who has earned the right to walk the corridors of your client's business, don't understand what the goals of the business and the owners and their financial aspirations as well, then you're leaving opportunity on the table, and you're going to be less effective than you would be if you are clear on that and we're part of that decision-making process. We know that early in the calendar year, when we're all doing our New Year's resolutions about getting fit and losing weight and doing other things, that we also look at the tool sets and subscriptions and what are we using and how do we use that. So it's a really good time to assess the tools you're using or underutilizing. And if you're a Spotlight reporting subscriber, please utilize the tools properly. Most of our packages include dashboards, if you're Super VCFO, unlimited dashboards, forecasting and reporting. So look at the future cash flow forecasting. If you're not using that, please use it more. Reporting obviously sets the cadence for mentoring, strategic planning, and those trusted advisor interactions. And then dashboards is the gateway to reporting, forecasting, and no more heavy, high value advisory work. So that gets the customers interested in having conversations with you, and it shows that you are a little bit different to traditional accountants who will just give the tax return and financial statements. So please use dashboards and Anger to engage with your customers. And remember, the tool set at Spotlight Reporting exists to empower you as an accountant to grow advisory and to have meaningful value-added relationships. And if you're a CFO, obviously to be a rock star for your board, bank, CEO, etc. So yes, please use the tool set. I've also written a blog post, which is on our spotlightreporting.com blog, all around assessing your tool sets, but also the relationship you should have with those providers. We have extensive customer success capability that we want to deploy with you. We have really experienced education, training, and support individuals, and lots of resources that can help you either be a fantastic CFO for your business and your group, or a really impressive accountant advisor. So please do check out the full range of things that we provide, and assess the tools and make sure you're maximizing the investment you're making in them, not only in terms of the cost, but making sure that your team is getting trained and certified and all of those things that are important to really kind of make sure your return on investment's high. I think one of the key reasons for me wanting to create Spotlight Reporting as a company and our 5 tools, reporting, dashboards, forecasting, multi for your benchmarking and your networks, and sustain for your ESG, was to really empower advisors to have meaningful conversations with clients. And for me, having been in practice both in a big firm where I ran an advisory division and in my own boutique advisory firm, actually it was all about the value-added conversations. It was all about us as advisors and accountants being in that front line, eyeballing the entrepreneurs of the world and helping the SMBs of the world to create jobs and wealth and all of those good things that leads to better schools and hospitals and roads and all of the community outcomes we want. And if we're not doing that, if we're just doing the compliance work and making sure they're compliant and the tax authorities are happy, tick, then we are leaving some of our mojo on the table and the influence that we could have on the table. So my challenge again as a new year, new you, is what impactful conversations are you having with your clients? Use our tools as a mechanism to get in front of them, to show them not only the past but the future, to set goals, action plans, etc. with them. Maybe to spool up a conversation around ESG if they're part of a supply chain, um, and and just move from accountant to advisor, move from passive to proactive, move from periodic interactions to consequential interactions on a regular cadence. And I think not only does that add value to the customer proposition and their outcomes, but it adds tremendous value to your own career, to your brand, to your practice, and just that feeling that 2026 is going to be a year where you do things differently. And where you really step up and lean in on your expertise and experience, which accountants unfortunately can undervalue. And I see some really smart people working with some really cool businesses out there who can make 2026 their best year yet by leaning in a little bit more on advisory, making sure they're getting the most value out of their tool set, including spotlight reporting, and doing the work that changes lives. So I wish you all a fantastic 2026. I hope that you will look at your tool set, you'll look at your own goals, your own client and customer opportunities for new services and have those impactful conversations that make all the difference. Thanks, everyone. Happy 2026.